looks like I'm headed to room 507. Let's get to the bottom of this and find out what links these rooms together. Mr. Cruz, huh? Numbers, dates, times. What does it all mean? I know lipstick marks are a pain to scrub off, but they're kind of charming. A lovely shade of lipstick. Aw, that's so sweet. I didn't do much, but I'm glad it meant something to you. Those few coins in my tip jar were getting pretty lonely. They'll appreciate the company. That look in your eyes. What does it mean? And who is this from? Either a guest got a hold of our stationery, or this came from someone on the staff. Locked. The key has to be around here somewhere. So a husband can abuse his wife and just get away with it? And people like Linda still think divorce is wrong? Ugh. Bridget Boswell. Didn't I see that name somewhere earlier? Ah, so Fernie and Wiseman are publishers. So you were eager to set up a meeting, but didn't want anyone noticing. Did Marcella send this? Adults can be so confusing. I promise it's not you. Aha! Keys are Snoop's best friend. Sounds like this is from your school days, but the name of the sender is smudged. Funny how some games really stand the test of time. I used to play this with Mom all the time. He's all but outright threatening you. Oh, I hope you can stay as far away from him as possible. Looks like someone grew tired of looking at your face, Mr. Beaumont. A lovely shade of lipstick. You almost look like Marcella. I'll need another key to unlock this. Haven't I seen one just like this somewhere? That key looks so familiar. Why do I associate it with room 505? Ah, there you are. With Marcella. God knows where she is.
Clarington Hotel reception desk, Andrew speaking.
Hey, Andrew.
Sophie, crazy timing. I've got something for you.
Oh, what is it?
I heard a certain Mr. Cruz and a Mr. Morgan had an argument yesterday evening.
Really? Who told you that?
Jacques did. Apparently, it got so heated he had to get involved. And it sounds like we were on the right track, because he heard a particular word thrown around quite a lot. Can you guess what it is?
Affair?
Exactly.
How bad was the fight?
I think Jacques got in the middle of it before it got too intense, but he said Mr. Cruz looked like he was about to kill Mr. Morgan. So Mrs. Cruz must be having an affair with him, right? And her husband found out?
Maybe, but that doesn't explain Mrs. Beaumont's involvement with Mrs. Cruz.
What do you mean?
I found a chest in room 507. I think it can only be opened by turning 2 keys at once. I found one of them in Mrs. Beaumont's things.
What about the second one?
Well, I remembered seeing a similar key in one of Mr. Morgan's stocking pictures, so I went back to check. Mrs. Cruz wears it as a pendant. It looks identical to Mrs. Beaumont's key.
Let me get this straight. Mrs. Beaumont and Mrs. Cruz own identical keys that open a chest with 2 locks? Okay, there's definitely something going on between them.
Yeah, but the answers probably lie in that chest, and I don't think I'll be able to open it. I've looked around room 509. I would have seen the second key if it was there. Mrs. Cruz must have left with it this morning.
Probably.
We were so close. I can't believe it all ends here.
Well, if you get me a candle and some plaster, I may be able to do something about that chest.
How?
I'll tell you later, okay? Just find those things, and I'll meet you in the basement as soon as I can.
All right. Thank you for not giving up.
I would never give up on you.
This looks like Beaver Lake. Great! This takes care of half of this little scavenger hunt. As for the candles, doesn't Rebecca keep some in her locker downstairs? I can probably find the rest of what I need in the basement. It's locked.
Didn't trust me, but I just can't find him. He's nowhere to be found. Gone. Disappeared. I don't know what on earth's going on today. Is it because of that goddamn snowstorm? Or was there something in the coffee this morning?
What do you mean?
Well, the whole setup's completely off today. Jacques leaving luggage carts everywhere. Wendy writing that message on your door. Andrew suddenly worrying about the floor tile. Oh, and that maid? What's her name? Sylvie? I never noticed how odd she is.
Sophie, you mean? I like her. She's a good girl.
You know what? I should call the city. Tell them they don't need to build that new madhouse next door. There's one right here.
Oh, Bernard, it's not that bad. I'm here, aren't I? Come here. Let me help you forget about all that for a minute.
Guys, where in this hotel haven't you made out? I'm not sure how the children are affected by what goes on at a bar on a Friday night. But I'm no lieutenant, so... I'm not sure how the wouldn't be surprised if everyone's a little bit more on edge today. Bad weather has a way of doing that. Ah, my new home. According to Suzanne and Yvette, this is horrible. I don't think I'll ever understand what pushes people to go so far as killing. Candles, candles, candles. I think Rebecca keeps a stash of them, but tempting, but now's not the time to pick up smoking, Sophie. Off limits. Alright, we're getting somewhere. Now, to resist the temptation to spend it on a burger at Harry's. Gotta hold on to these tight. Don't worry, gossiper. I'm coming back to you. I still haven't learned all of Gracie Jones' secrets. keep your secrets locker. Open sesame? Nope, it's locked. Off limits. It's locked. The way they look at each other, you can tell it's the real deal. Fine, keep your secrets locker. Andrew? Gosh, I hardly recognized you. Guess this is from a different lifetime. Figures that if you were going to break any rules, it'd be the ones about which books you can or cannot read. What happened to you before you came to Montreal? Why don't you want to go back home? Ooh, is this a movie script? Stash uncovered. Reb, you won't mind if I just take one, right? Got a candle. Now, what next? Mr. VIP is really getting to Bobby. I hope you managed to calm him down, Reb. The last thing the Clarington needs today is a murdered guest. I hope you managed to calm him down, Reb. The last thing the Clarington needs today is a murdered guest. Let's see if Andrew is around.
There you are.
I'm not sure I understand what the plan is here.
Well, I remember reading a spy novel, I can't remember the title, it wasn't that good, in which they used wax and plaster to make a key mold. I'm thinking we could do the same.
Are you sure it's gonna work?
Sure? No. In the novel, they used a special kind of wax, not candle wax. But I think it's worth a shot.
Yeah, you're right.
So let's do this, shall we? First step, pour the wax, I suppose? Careful though, the pot's probably hot. That's it. Nicely done. Next step, put the key in the wax, right? Better wait a few seconds before removing it. Looks good. Pretty sure you can take it out now. I think we're almost done. All that's left is to pour the plaster from the cup into the mold. Good job. So now we wait until it's dry, I guess.
How long do you think it's gonna take?
A few minutes, probably. We can poke it every now and then to check.
I bet you didn't think you'd be making a plaster key today, huh?
No. But I like it. I feel like I'm in one of those novels I spend my days reading.
Have you ever read banned books?
What do you mean?
You know, books banned by the church. I heard, Copernicus is a pretty interesting read.
Huh. Funny you should say that. It's on my list, actually. Although I can confirm it takes a more scientific mind than mine to enjoy it.
I suppose there's a reason why those books are illegal, right?
Well, the church did persecute Galileo for saying the Earth revolved around the sun, and not the other way around. So, even as a man of the cloth, I don't mind saying their judgment isn't always the best.
How do you get your hands on those books? It must be pretty hard.
Well, if you know the right people in the right bookstores, you can get your hands on just about anything. It takes a lot of time and money, though. Sometimes these books come from halfway across the globe.
Really? It must be so nice for writers to know their books travel around the world like that. Have you ever thought about being one?
A writer? Oh, oh no. I'm terrible.
So you've tried?
I thought for a while it would be my true calling, but one of my roommates read my manuscript and assured me it wasn't for me. And what about you? Do you write?
Not really. I mean, I have this journal in which I write about my day and stuff, you know? And sometimes I scribble down some story ideas, but I've never had the time to properly develop them.
Hey, why don't you come over sometime? We could read each other's writing. What do you think?
Okay, why not? Just promise not to laugh.
I won't laugh at yours if you don't laugh at mine. But seriously, I'm sure you're underselling yourself. With all the things you see in guests' rooms, that brain of yours must be bursting with great ideas.
Maybe. We'll see.
Oh, look. I think our key double is dry and ready to go.
I can't believe it worked. I could not have done this without you.
Well, I'm glad I was able to be of some help. I should get back upstairs, though. I've been gone far too long already. Let me know how it goes with the key. Oh, and you should probably be careful when you turn it. Otherwise, it could break inside the lock.
Yeah, I'll be careful. Thank you for everything.
You're welcome, Sophie.
I've got 2 keys. Now, let's test them out. Be careful, Sophie. You don't want this key to break. There's a lot of stuff in here. I don't think I've looked at everything yet. Unlike my favorite bar, this one was black. Her alliterative name will surely take you back. These two sure love their riddles. There's a lot of stuff in here. I don't think I've looked. Marcella invited you to the movies. Let me guess. There's a lot of stuff in here. I don't think I've looked at everything yet. Back to 507 to try this key double. I hope it works. Be careful, Sophie. You don't want this key to break. Oh, shoot. Unlike my favorite bar, Marcella invited you to the movies. Let me guess. You said yes. I've got 2 keys. Now, let's test them out. Be careful, Sophie. You don't want this key to break. Oh, shoot. Unlike my favorite bar, this one was black. Her alliterative name. name will surely take you back. These two sure love their riddles. Back to 507 to try this key double. I hope it works. Be careful, Sophie. You don't want this key to break. Unlike my favorite bar, this one was black. Her alliterative name will surely take you back. These two sure love their riddles. Huh. Marcella invited you to the movies. Let me guess. You said yes. Doris Day. That's an alliteration, isn't it? Doris. I-S. A cat named Greta. G-R. A cat named Greta. G-R. So G-R from Greta and I-S from Doris. Gree? Could that be the code for the case on the bed in 509? It's worth a try. That novelist, Bridget Boswell, is actually you, Marcella? Oh, Anne. Murder might be a bit much, but you deserve some kind of justice. I do like a happy ending. I just hope that's where your story is headed. Oh, so you came to Montreal under the pretense of celebrating your wedding anniversary, but all along, you meant to reunite with Anne. After all this, turns out you're a fan of Bridget? Of Marcella? That's a lot sweeter than I expected. I'm glad you were able to open up to Marcella like this. Everyone needs someone to talk to. An advance on my salary. So Marcella hired you. But what for? Oh, Lindsay's a man. Yeah, I guess it was presumptuous of me to think otherwise. Oh, Lindsay's a man. Yeah, I guess it was presumptuous of me to think otherwise. So the symbols I've been deciphering, you invented them back in the day to keep your love secret. That feels really special. So the symbols I've been deciphering, you invented them back in the day to keep your love secret. That feels really special.
So this was all a story about star-crossed lovers, with the lovers in question being Mrs. Beaumont and Mrs. Cruz.
Seems like it, yeah. But I'm not sure whether they chose to meet here just to reconnect for a few days, or if there's something more to it.
Actually, I think I can help with that.
Really? How?
Well, some mail just arrived here for Mrs. Beaumont.
I wonder what's in it.
Me too.
Should we open it?
Well, that's illegal, isn't it? But sometimes the mail arrives a little damaged, you know? Oops.
So?
It's a tourism pamphlet for California and 3 train tickets. What do you think this means?
I'd say Anne and Marcella are probably planning to run away from their husbands. Those train tickets must be for them and Michael.
So you're on a first-name basis now, huh?
Well, after reading so much of their correspondence, I kind of feel like I know them, you know?
Yeah, like characters in a book. I have to say, though, I'm still a bit confused as to how Paul fits into all of this.
Turns out he's a big fan of Marcella.
He is? Why?
She writes pulp fiction under his pseudonym. I think her books gave Paul a chance to get out of his own head while he was staying in a psychiatric hospital.
I get it. Books have always been a way to escape for me too. But why did he have pictures of you?
We'll probably never know. I think the trail ends here.
I guess investigations in real life always have some loose ends. I was kinda hoping we'd have this big third act reveal, to be honest.
At least it made our day pretty interesting.
That's for sure. It helped me understand you better, too.
Oh?
Why you snoop, I mean. Piecing together people's stories, learning what makes them tick. It makes you realize we may have more in common than it seems.
You're right. Which is why the next story I'd like to learn is yours, Andrew.
Oh? Am I gonna find you snooping through my apartment next?
No.
I would love to share my story with you, Sophie. You're the first person in a long time who's made me feel like I can. Would you come and see me when your shift ends? We could leave together, if you'd like.
Sure. If we're able to. With all that snow, I'm thinking maybe we'll have no choice but to spend the night here.
I guess that wouldn't be so bad. We could set up a pillow fort on the mezzanine.
A pillow fort? We do work in a hotel, you know. There are actual beds here.
Oh, I wouldn't be sleeping. I've got a reading list the size of the Eiffel Tower. This would be the perfect chance to put a dent in it.
That does sound like fun. I could bring my magazines and, ooh, maybe light some of Rebecca's candles.
Now I kinda hope we do get stuck here.
I just have to finish my tasks for the day, and then I can leave. I don't think I'll need this again. Mr. Cruz? Mr. Cruz. Oh, God. Oh, God. What happened to Mr. Cruz's life insurance policy? Why did he have this on him? Marcella? Okay, let's not jump to conclusions. Marcella? Okay, let's not jump to conclusions. Is this about Paul? Does that mean... Please let there be someone around who can help. Should I hold on to this, maybe? Poor Paul. Lindsay's death really hit him hard. He hasn't been in the best headspace. So Paul just needed to pass the time while Marcella was away. That's why he was observing us. Paul was hiding out right here. Did he ever find the person who was sneaking out at night? "9:45? So Anne and Marcella met here this morning while I was busy cleaning room 504. Looks like Paul had to stop writing in a hurry. What happened? I was listening to the radio at the time. Did the music drown out the noise? Looks like Paul had to stop writing in a hurry. What happened? I was listening to the radio at the time. Did the music drown out the noise? Looks like Paul had to stop writing in a hurry. What happened? I was listening to the radio at the time. Did the music drown out the noise? A.B. Anne Beaumont. These look like Marcella's pearls. What happened here? That worked, thank God. Now, to get the power back. Eugene, what I would give to have you with me right now. Your note will have to make do. Yes, this is what I need. How did this end up here? Not much use without the rest of the code. Unless those numbers I found in the laundry room, could they be part of the same combination? Not much use without the rest of the code. Unless those numbers I found in the laundry room, could they be part of the same combination? How does Eugene do this again? Fuses. I probably need new fuses. I don't think there's anything here that would help me. How does Eugene do this again? Fuses. I probably need new fuses. power's back. Now I should go down to the lobby. Call the police. The bodies of a woman and 3 children. 3 children. Huh. I have to contact the police. Is there anything I've forgotten? Once I leave this floor, I probably won't be able to come back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Montreal Police Service, Station 22.
There's a man dead. He's been murdered. I need the police.
Please stay calm, ma'am. Where are you right now?
The lobby, but the body, it's upstairs.
Can you give me the address, please?
Oh, 1178 Drummond Street.
All right, ma'am. Officers are on their way.
Thank you. Is this the brochure Andrew was talking about? The one that came in the mail for Anne? The West Coast. That's about as far from Montreal as you can get without crossing an ocean. So Anne and Marcella really are planning to run off together. Was what happened to Hector part of their plan? Bernard really wants Paul out of the hotel.
Hey, you're here. I've tried restoring the power, but I think Eugene's the only one with the key to the fuse box, and Sophie? Don't worry, I'll find a way to bring the lights back on. Hey, you look a bit pale. Is everything okay?
I found Mr. Cruz. Hector.
He's back? How's he taking that whole thing with his wife?
You don't understand. I found his body. He's dead, Andrew.
Jesus. Maybe you need to sit down, huh? Did you call the police?
Yeah, they're on their way.
What happened? Was he sick or something?
No, I don't think so. Someone did this to him.
You mean... Jesus. Do you think it could be Paul?
What about Anne and Marcella? Their affair is a pretty good motive. I also found a letter from one of Hector's customers. He seemed really angry. I guess it could be him as well.
The police will want to ask you a lot of questions. You may want to be careful about what you tell them. With Paul's history of mental illness, there's a good chance they'll suspect him even if he didn't do it.
What are you saying?
What I mean is... that spending some time in a psychiatric hospital doesn't make you a murderous psychopath. But for some reason, that's what everyone seems to think. The police especially.
Yeah. I hadn't thought of that.
You know, when I was 19, I studied to be a priest, but I felt so lost. I couldn't enjoy the things I used to like. I could barely get myself out of bed. So I ended up going to a psychiatric hospital. And the doctors, they helped me get back on my feet. But when I returned to my hometown, it was like I had become a complete stranger. My mother kept telling me I was making it worse in my head, but I swear, people were changing sidewalks when they saw me, looking at me as if I was this dangerous creature all of a sudden. That's why I didn't tell you that.
What?
Call it coincidence or fate, but that psychiatric hospital, it's the same one Paul went to. I've met him there, talked to him a bit. I'm sorry I didn't say anything before.
It's okay. I get why you didn't.
You do?
You know how I tell everyone that my mom's sick, bedridden? Well, it's true, but I always leave out the part about her illness not being physical. I'm ashamed of the truth. So even though I don't know exactly what you went through, I can understand.
Thank you for telling me. I know it's not an easy thing to talk about, but if you ever want to talk about your mom, I'm here. They're here. Promise me you'll be careful with the information you share.
Yeah, of course.
Miss Roy? Miss Roy? Miss Roy!
Oh, sorry. I was distracted.
I really need you to focus right now. I don't want to be here all night, and I'm sure you don't either.
No, I don't.
So, as I was saying, we're trying to ascertain the circumstances of Mr. Cruz's death. Can you tell me how you came to find the body?
I was cleaning room 509 when I heard the elevator bell ring. Again and again and again. I thought maybe a child was playing with the doors, so I went out in the corridor, and that's when I saw him. All the blood and...
Why was the elevator bell ringing?
I'm sorry?
You said you heard the elevator bell ring. Why was it ringing? I assume it wasn't a child after all.
Well, Mr. Cruz's body was preventing the doors from closing.
Really? When we found the body, it wasn't that close to the doors.
Oh, the stairs are blocked because of the renovations, so the elevator's the only way out of the 5th floor. I had no choice but to move the body. Just a little.
Ah, so that explains the traces we found. Thank you for clearing that up. So, what did you do after that?
Well, that's when the power cut. So I had to go to the janitor's closet.
To access the fuse box.
Exactly. I changed a few fuses and turned the power back on.
But there's a lock on that box, isn't there? Did you have the key?
No, I didn't. Only Eugene does. But I thought an ice pick might do the trick, so I went to the ice machine to get one.
You're a size 7, I suppose.
Yes, I am. Why?
What did you see when you went to the ice machine?
There was blood. A lot of it.
Did you touch anything?
No. No, nothing.
Good. You wouldn't believe how many idiot witnesses accidentally compromised the evidence. Anyway, what did you do after restoring the power?
I took the elevator down to the lobby. That's where I called the police.
Do you remember what you said to the operator? The exact words.
No, I'm afraid I don't.
You said, there's a man dead. He's been murdered.
That's possible.
What makes you so sure it was murder?
Well, I know about Mr. Cruz's angry customer. The one who sent him death threats.
Oh, yes, we found those. But the customer in question lives back in Texas, so there's no way he could have killed Mr. Cruz.
Actually, I think he may be staying at the hotel.
Have you encountered him?
No. In room 504, there's a guest who seems to be traveling alone. Yet, he has these 3 teddy bears in his room. Mr. Cruz's customer lost his 3 children in a fire, and these bears are slightly burnt. So...
An interesting deduction. I'll look into that. But how do you even know about the death threats?
Mr. Cruz told me the other day.
Was he in the habit of talking about his personal life with hotel mates?
I really can't say what his habits were, but he seemed to like me.
Then maybe you'll be able to answer 1 or 2 of my questions.
I'll do my best.
We've learned from one of your colleagues that the victim had a fight with a guest named Mr. Spade. What can you tell me about him?
I don't really know anything about him. He seems nice, though.
Nice. I wouldn't be so sure.
Oh?
We found out that Mr. Spade is fresh out of a madhouse. When we called the place, they painted quite the picture of him. Did you ever see him display odd behavior in or around the hotel?
No. I mean, we've all got our little quirks, don't we?
Did he seem obsessed with Mrs. Cruz?
A little, maybe, but...
Obsessed enough to kill her husband?
No, nothing like that. We all have our obsessions. Me, for instance. I'm obsessed with celebrities and gossip magazines, and...
You don't seem to understand, Miss Roy. Mr. Spade is not like you and me. He may look like us, but he's not. He's dangerous and needs to be taken off the streets. So tell me, did you ever see him be violent or aggressive?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry I can't be of more help.
No, I'm sure you are. But we're not quite done yet, Miss Roy. The victim's wife, Marcela Cruz. Apparently she left in quite a hurry this morning. What can you tell me about her?
I don't know much. Only that she looks like a loving, caring wife.
Really? That's odd, because we learned a lot about Mrs. Cruz when we went through her room. And let's just say that loving, caring wife are not the first words that would come to mind.
Oh?
She's a lesbian, involved in some sordid affair with the guest from room 507, Mrs. Beaumont. Have you ever witnessed them engaging in immoral behavior?
What do you mean?
I'm asking if you've seen them being, intimate.
No, I haven't. No.
And did you hear them discuss their deviant ways in front of Mrs. Beaumont's son, perhaps? Imagine what kind of effect such perversion can have on a young child.
No, I didn't hear anything.
Did you hear them express their hatred of men? Did they ever talk about using violence against men? Did you hear them speak ill of Mr. Cruz?
No, I didn't hear any of that.
All right, then.
Can I leave now?
Yes, you can. Thank you for your cooperation, Miss Roy. We'll be in touch if we have any more questions.
Bernard was strangely chipper on the phone. That can't be a good sign. I guess I'll know soon enough. Let's go see what Bernard wants. The atmosphere is so different in here. It'll probably be a while before the hotel reopens.
I'll go empty my locker.
Andrew,
Hey,
are you okay?
I've just been fired.
What? No,
It's okay. I just need some time to process it. I'll be on the mezzanine if you want to join me afterwards.
yeah. Yeah, okay.
Ah, Miss Roy. Come in. I suppose you know why you're here?
I'm not sure, actually. Your phone call was a bit vague.
Yes, well, I prefer to have this conversation in person. We've been getting a lot of press lately, and not the good kind. I wouldn't expect you to understand the position I'm in, but I assure you, it's quite uncomfortable. To have one's life's work blown away like that. All thanks to some sexual deviance and a nut job. It's obvious to me now that I haven't been firm enough. For guests of such morals to be comfortable booking a few nights here and committing such a horrid act. Things need to change. This means elevating our standards to the highest possible level, and it starts with the people working here. It starts with you.
With me?
Yes. From what I've heard, you've been quite the exemplary maid lately. Clean rooms, satisfied guests.
I take my job very seriously, sir.
As you should. I had planned to give this month's Employee of the Month title to Wendy, but since she's no longer with us, I'm thinking of giving it to you instead.
Really?
You should know it comes with the responsibility of being a glowing example for other staff members to follow. Is this something you believe you can do?
Would it come with a reward?
I see you're a pragmatist. Yes, it would.
Okay. Then I'll do it.
Good. I expect you to be here on Monday, first thing in the morning. There's a lot of work to be done before the reopening. That'll be all.
Hey,
Hey,
what a week.
you don't say. So what did Bernard want with you?
He offered me the Employee of the Month title.
That's great. Congratulations. It's too bad I won't be there when you get your reward, though.
I'm so sorry.
It's not your fault.
I know, but it's so unfair that I get rewarded while you lose your job.
Don't feel bad about it. You need it more than I do.
Did Bernard say why he was firing you?
Well, I told him about my time at the psychiatric hospital.
Really?
Yeah. He said that didn't fit with the hotel's standards and showed me the door.
So, what's next for you?
I think I'd like to be my own boss. No more Bernard looking over my shoulder. I've had this dream for a while of maybe opening a bookstore.
I can't say I'm surprised.
It just makes so much sense. I'd be able to combine the two things I love most, reading books and helping people. Granted, helping people find books is a far cry from helping them find God, but...
My mom likes to say, there's no job too small. Plus, just by the way you're talking about it, it's obvious it'd make you happy. And that's what really matters, I think.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you. I'm really glad I have you in my life.
Me too. Can I?
Kiss me?
Yes.
Please do.
That was...
Yeah, it was.
What do you think will happen to them?
Who?
Sorry, my mind wanders sometimes. I meant Paul, Anne, and Marcella. Do you think they'll be released?
What do you think?
I don't know. I wish they'd get a happy ending, but I'm not sure it's that kind of story.
I'd like to believe it is. I think Paul becomes a famed photographer. He gets his own studio and decorates it like a hotel bathroom. As for Anne and Marcella, they move in together. But they keep leaving each other notes in the vents. You know, for old time's sake.
I like it. Maybe you should write that.
Maybe I will.